Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. Happy March 24th, and thank you for joining me for this world session, this world body talk session. So I'm going to hop right into it. But before I do, please go ahead and hit that like button. Please comment on the videos. Let me know your feedback of what you've experienced during the last healing session, what shifts you've noticed. Comment, like, subscribe, and let's get this out there together. Thank you so much. So here we go. I'm going to go quiet for a moment and let's see what the session brings for us today. So I'm going in and opening up the session under the 8th house. It feels like there's this transition happening. So the 8th house has to do with the death and birth. So this doesn't necessarily need to be a physical death or a physical birth, although it can, but this is not what I'm bringing in. So going in, and it's the 8th house has to do, with death and birth, other people's money, regeneration, and interrelationships. And it's governed. It's governed by Scorpio, the planets, the sign Scorpio, and the planet Pluto, which has to do with sacrifice, society, collective power, manipulation of abuse of power, which has been going on for the last 2 years worldwide. So we've got this 8th house umbrella that's if you want to think about it, as an umbrella, and then it's kind of setting the stage for today's session. And the organs that it affects is the kidneys. So that's sexual and sensual energy, genetics, energy circulation, and willpower. And we're heightening willpower here. And there feels like there's a shift happening. So Pluto, I need some space all of a sudden. So Pluto brings everything that was hidden in the dark to light. It's a hard planet. It's very far away. The energy is dense. Oh my, and I'm all over the place. So there is a transitioning happening that I'm noticing and that I'm seeing, moving from the 8th house to that abuse of power, these hard energies, and we're going right into the kidneys. It seems to be affecting the kidneys most. So kidney stones, adrenal fatigue, adrenal drain, and then the relationship between the communication between the adrenals and the kidneys, and then moving into the urinary system, moving down the urinary system into the bladder and down the urinary tract. It feels like it's a little slow, so we need to get that chi moving in there. So there's ancestral chi that's stored within the kidneys, and we don't want to be using the ancestral chi. That's reserved for times when you get older or you're not feeling well, and you need that backup energy. That ancestral chi cannot be replenished. You're born with what you've got for the ancestral chi, and then that's it. So we don't want to be tapping into the reserves of that. Oh, but then then there's this overactive nervous system, this overactive mind, too many thoughts. I'm getting the word scatterbrained. So thoughts all over the place wears down the ancestral chi. It wears down the energy. So it feels like it's eating the reserve. So where do you get your daily chi from? You get it from the sun, you get it from the wind, you get it from the water you drink, from the food that you eat, and then from your good night's rest, from sleep. And this is what replenishes your daily chi. Oh, so we want to make sure that that ancestral chi is not being munched away at and that it's being conserved. So you got to ground first. So I'm going into the nervous system and it's all over the place. It feels like static electricity. I was just I was feeling so hectic before. Even the way that I was speaking was all over the place. So really to ground and to anchor yourself. There we go. So moving through the nervous system, the sympathetic, the parasympathetic nervous system, and down into the nerve endings of the nervous system that lays down the spinal column. There's a few things that we need to do in there, running a hydration and um, doing a EMF balancing. So the way chi around the nervous system feels fried and too static. So being impacted by your own internal conflict, outside conflict, even the planets are affecting, and this is all under the umbrella of the eighth house. So we're going to go into Wei Qi and um, do a protection against. Really, it's coming up as EMFs. So oh, my heart is racing as I say that. So cell towers, microwaves, cell phones, computers, um, electronics within the house, and 5G is coming up. So these new cell towers cell towers that are going up, it's really affecting the nerve endings. So we're going to go and balance that out. Oh, and it feels like that's like makes it, there's a disconnect from the heart. So we need to do a seedry on the link to the heart. So we're linking this to the heart for harmonization. The heart harmonizes, but there's panic when I go into the heart. Oof. Oh. So we need to drain anxiety and panic from the heart. And then there's, well, I don't know what to do comes up. Well, the heart knows what to do. I don't know what to do is a thinking. It's too much thought. So we're going to drain anxiety and panic from the heart. Going to do that as a biogenics, emotional release of anxiety and panic from the heart. Oh, that's opening up some space, linking that to the diaphragm and small intestines. Oh, now I'm going to go ahead back to the heart and bring in heart consciousness, doing a vivaxis to the heart, a body vivaxis to the heart. Oh, in relation, getting it all nice and set, comfortable spot within the cardiac notch, opening up the lungs, and then doing a repair from the nervous system to the heart. And that link needs to be repaired. They're not communicating very well. It's like a broken telephone. Too much information comes in, your nervous system picks everything up and is unable to filter because it's working at such a heightened space. Tapping, then that wears down the body and wears down the kidney adrenals, eating up your ancestral chi. Oof. And it just feels like one big eating machine. So I'm just going quiet to watch this happen. And then I'm doing a seedry to the link. So the communication between the nervous system and the heart is nice and clear. There we go. I can go ahead and tap this in. And then I'm going back and bringing me back into the kidneys. And we've got to do a 5 elements balancing within the kidneys. They're all over the place, out of sequence. So we're going to do an all elements balancing within the kidneys. So balancing earth to metal, metal to water, water to wood, and wood to fire. Oh, that feels so relaxing. That feels so nice. It was too contracted and feels sluggish. And so we're going to go ahead and do a pathological drain of fear. There's too much fear in the kidneys. Fear of my feeling my emotions, fear of money, fear of, so anytime there's a life situation or anything that comes up, money, bills, life, parenting, children, even your own experiences, and this fear rises and it gets tangled in with the thoughts and attached to the thoughts, and then those must be true. Fear is natural. It's a natural emotion, and kidneys know what to do with fear. If there's a bear coming to chase you, fear comes in and gets you out of the way, or you freeze. But that overactive fear with thoughts, fear plus thoughts becomes driven action or driven emotion, and that becomes pathological. And it's clogging up. Oh my, it's clogging up the tubes. It's creating a contraction. There's some parts of the kidneys that are bloated. Ugh. Ugh. Other parts of the kidneys that are struggling. We want to get that nice and flowing. So we're going to do a full circulation to the kidneys. So blood, lymph, nerve, to, from, and within the kidneys. Oof, then doing a repair to the renal tubes or the renal veins. We've got to do a repair to those. Oh, it feels really sticky. So we're going to do a biogenics. There's some body armoring around those renal tubes to fear. So going to do an emotional release from the renal tubes to fear. And then there's an 8th chakra influence coming in, and also hereditary. So there's 2 8th past lives. All right, so there's a few complex things happening in these renal tubes. So we've got some past life events happening. So some starvation, and then being put out. So it really comes into being put out onto the street. So homelessness is coming up as a past life that's impacting us. So we're going to go ahead and we'll run an active memory to those past lives. Oh, already that's feeling much better. I'm seeing that untwine and detangle. There's an 8th chakra influence, hereditary. And so you can go ahead and touch your navel and then your kidney. And I'm going to go ahead and do an RNA DNA repair to any renal conditions. And so even if your kidneys are nice and healthy, the overactive mind of the nervous system, the overactive mind and bombardment of information, whether that's from outside sources or even from your inside source, even from your own thoughts, from your own thinking, and bombards and tires down the nervous system. There's a dip in energy, and that goes ahead. Then you go and you eat up your ancestral tree to feed yourself, so you're full of energy again. So there's a cyclical pattern going on. So doing a DNA repair to that. Oh. And also to hereditary diseases. Oh. Oh. And then plugging in this gorgeous hydration. Oh, that feels so nice in the kidneys. Doing a full hydration method to the kidneys, to the renal tubes, down into the bladder, and then doing a full circulation plug into the whole urinary system. Include the whole urinary system. Oh, that feels really nice. All right, you can go ahead and tap that in. Oh, I can feel some energy moving in my back, which feels really nice. Maybe you can feel your kidneys heating up. Maybe you'll feel that you need to go to the washroom to dump these toxins. There we go. There's another release. So for anyone who's listening for the first time, the belching is not indigestion or rudeness on my part. It's the energy moving. There's big releases happening, and sometimes it comes up as a burp. All right. That's what we've got for today. That was a beautiful session. Thank you all for being with me, and I'll see you all next week.